leverage that tool and you can apply it as well to your business. So, question, how many of you, just show of hands, have given Facebook or Instagram any kind of money to promote something? Raise the show of your hands. Okay, now keep them up. No, I'm not going to show, keep them up. So how many of you who have done that have used the little boost post button that, the promote button on Instagram? All right, keep it up. Now watch this. How many of you got the results you were looking for using the boost post button? No one? Okay, good, that's what I thought. You're probably like this guy in this meme. You feel like Facebook's a money pit, but it's not. I'm gonna tell you why. So Facebook has this platform called the Ads Manager. How many of you guys have heard of the Ads Manager? Okay, how many of you guys have fiddled with it for a little bit? No one? All right, good, this will be fun. So the Ads Manager is a platform that gives you a plethora of tools and features that you can use to really dial in your targeting that you otherwise would not be able to access using the little boost post button. And I'm explaining what that means in a second. So Facebook, we always joke about how, if you click on something on a website and then you see that same product on the Facebook platform, you'd be surprised just how dialed in that actually, or how that actually works. Because what Facebook does is it actually categorizes people based on your user behavior. So it knows who likes to watch videos, it knows who likes to engage, it knows who likes to make purchases. And as advertisers, we can use that to be able to target people based on the behavior that matters to us the most. So a lot of people don't know is when you use the boost post button, what you're actually telling Facebook is you only want likes and shares and comments. So that's what she's like, oh yeah, that's what it is. So the problem with that is if you're trying to get sales, if you're trying to get subscribers, you end up missing that category of users completely by using the boost post button. So I'm going to go over some of the tools that Ads Manager gives you. How many of you have heard of the Facebook Pixel? How many of you have never heard of the Facebook Pixel before? This is your first time here. All right, this is going to be fun. So the Facebook Pixel is a snippet code that Facebook gives you that you can copy and paste on different web pages on your website so you can track user activity as well as conversions. And for those who don't know, conversions are just people who convert from a site visitor to a buyer or from a site visitor to a subscriber. So let's just say, for example, you're selling keyboards, right? So if you're trying to track purchases, you would basically paste that code onto the thank you page for when someone buys a keyboard. So when someone hits that thank you page, that pixel activates and it gives Facebook information saying, hey, someone has bought this keyboard, counted as a conversion. And the cool thing about this is, the more conversions you get, the more Facebook actually learns about who's responding to your ad. So it uses that data to bring in more people who are just like the ones responding to your ads. That process is called Facebook optimization. So someone's saying, oh, the Facebook ad is optimizing, that's what they're actually referring to. So you can use the pixel to track conversions and leads. Now, the other important component to Facebook advertising is the audience that you choose. So there's 3 types of audiences that Facebook provides. The first one you might have used for the boost post is called interest audiences. And this is good for people who don't really have much of a following. You're trying to get, some brand new traffic or what we call cold traffic, people who have never heard of you before. Interest audience is a good place to start. So you can target people based on different brands they're interested in, different celebrities they're interested in, different music stores, things like that. So let's say you're a musician and you have a style that's similar to Lauryn Hill, right? Then the ideal thing to do would be to target people who have an interest in Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, people that are similar to those artists, right? And then, let's say you do have an email list. Let's say you have an email list of like 1,500, subscribers. What you could do is you can upload that list to Facebook and say, I want you to target just the people on this list. So what you've just given Facebook is what's called a custom audience. So that allows you to retarget people who are already on your list. It allows you to target people who already like your page. And basically they're considered warm traffic, people who have heard of you before. And the reason why that's important is because obviously it's cheaper and more profitable to target people who already know about it, right? So that's a good route to take. But let's say you have a following and you want to target to brand new people. What you can also do is take that same list, right, upload it to Facebook, and say, I want Facebook, or you can tell Facebook, I want you to go out and find me the top 1% or top 2% or top 10% of people within a particular country that are just like the people on this list. And that's what Facebook's going to do. So for example, you can pick the top 1% of people who live in the US. So if there's 200 million users in the US, Facebook's going to bring you back a list of cold traffic of 2 million people who are identical to those in your custom audience. So that audience that Facebook just gave you is what's called a lookalike audience. So if you already have a following, I would take that route because in most cases, Facebook is really accurate in terms of giving you the best quality audience that is very similar to your custom audience. So again, if you don't have a following, start with interest audiences and then build your custom audience and then go from like audiences from there. Does that make sense? It's a lot of information, but I guarantee you I will not leave you hanging. So the first step that you want to use to access this ads manager is go to business.facebook.com. So I know you guys are taking photos of it. How many of you even knew this site even existed? No one. Wow. Incredible. So what most people don't know is Facebook has a separate website, right? That you can use to manage your fan pages, your ad accounts, your team members, your admins, access to those fan pages, etc., separate from your personal Facebook. So most of you who don't know about this means that you have to log into your personal Facebook account to access your fan page. What you want to do is go to business.facebook.com and build what's called a business manager account. So that's the big platform that you can use to manage all these different things. So Facebook will walk you through how to do that. And then once you do that, the next step you're going to take is to transfer your fan page from your personal account to the business manager. And the other thing you want to do is to create what's called an ad account. So that ad account is what's going to allow you to run ads on behalf of your fan page. Does that make sense? So that's the next step. So once you have those things in place and then you go into your business manager dashboard and you click on your ad account, when you click your ad account, it's going to look like this. That platform, that dashboard is your ads manager. So as you see, I have some ads up there running, but if it's your first ad account, that's going to be empty. And it's going to have a little note that says, create a new ad from scratch. So that's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to walk you through how you can create an ad from scratch and use all the tools that I just mentioned. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Good, all right. So when you create an ad, what Facebook does is it takes you through 3 different levels: the campaign level, the ad set level, and then the ad level. So if you think of it this way, under one campaign, you can have more than one ad set, and then under one ad set, you can have more than one ad. So on each level, you create different settings. So if you remember me telling you about how Facebook tracks user behavior, and you want to match your ad objective to that behavior, this is where you would basically choose what objective or what goal you want. So if you want video views, you would click video views, and then what Facebook will do is it'll push it to people who are most likely to watch videos. So as far as the pixel that I mentioned earlier, that's where you would use the conversions tab. So if you wanted to track purchases, you would use the conversions option, and then Facebook knows, okay, she wants or he wants buyers, subscribers, things like that. So for the sake of this presentation, we're going to say, let's say we're trying to get, we're shooting for email subscribers, right? Now the problem is, if you're trying to get subscribers, you may have to go to a separate website to build a sign-up form and go through all that hassle. So Facebook has made it really easy. They have this new tab called lead generation, where you can actually build this sign-up form right within Facebook's platform. So you won't have to go to a separate website to build the form and connect it and all that good stuff. And just FYI, a lead is somebody who just gives you their contact information and express interest in what you're selling, right? So we're going to take that route, and we're going to build the opt-in form a little bit later. So the next step it's going to take you to is the ad set level. And on the ad set level, you get to choose things like your budget, your audience, your placements. And the question that I get a lot when it comes to the budget, well, actually, I get 2 questions. How much does Facebook cost, as if there is a particular cost? There isn't. I think for now, you can run an ad for as little as $1 a day. Would I recommend that? Probably not, because as I mentioned before, Facebook feeds off of data. So the more money you give Facebook, the more it can learn about your user activity, the faster it can optimize. So the more money you give Facebook, the better, if you do it this way. And I know the next question is, well, how much money should I give Facebook? And there is no definite answer, because it depends on a lot of things. It depends on what you're selling, depends on how big the audience is, so there's no real one answer to that. But what I will tell you is there's two ways to set up your budget. Daily budget, so you can tell Facebook, I want you to spend this much per day and no more. Or you can give Facebook a lifetime budget where you can spend the total amount within a designated time period. Does that make sense? All right, now here's where it gets fun. This is where you can choose your audience. So if you have your custom or lookalike audience already set up, you would just go to where it says custom audience, and then the drop-down menu is where you'll have your list of lookalike audiences that you can choose from and target. But if you don't have those yet, then you can just skip this step and go to where it says detailed targeting, and this is where you would basically write in the interests that I mentioned earlier that you would like to target. And then finally, there's placements. So placements is just simply where you want your ad to show. So do you want it to show in the Facebook newsfeed, Facebook right column, in the stories, Instagram newsfeed. So that's what the placement is, right? Now, once you've created those settings, then Facebook's going to take you to what's called the ad level. And on the ad level, this is where you get to choose what your ad is going to look like. So you get to choose your image, your heading, your text, your redirect link, your button, all those different things. And because we chose the lead generation option on the campaign level, this is where we also get to choose what our lead page will look like. So here's a list of different opt-in forms that I've already created. So again, if this is your first opt-in page or your first lead form, we're going to create one from scratch. So when we do that, there is a window that pops up, so you get to pick your headline for the sign-up form, you get to pick your fields. And the cool thing about Facebook is because it already knows the person's contact information, it'll, in most cases, autofill those fields for them, which makes it easier for them to submit the form, right? And then once you create all those settings, then you can just submit it to Facebook for review, and then the ad will run from there. So obviously, this is just one of my personal preferences. If you are trying to get someone's email address, you want to give them some kind of freebie to give them in exchange for their email address. So as an artist, this should be easy because you guys create stuff all the time. So these are just some examples of what you can offer them in exchange for their email address. So you can give them free downloadable music, you can give them free exclusive videos, exclusive blog content, discounted ticket sales, discounted merchandise, access to live Q&A. The list goes on and on and on, but these are just some examples of what you can offer them in exchange for their email address to be added to your email list. Make sense? All right. Now, here are some ad creation best practices that I like to use to make sure that my ad is running at its best. Especially if you're an artist, you want to use video, because if you're pushing your music to cold traffic, you want them to listen to your music, and the only way to do that is to put it to a video, right? So you could use image, but even across most industries, video tends to perform better than image anyway. But that's just, again, my personal preference. When it comes to the headline, make sure that it's short and straight to the point about what the ad is about. And it's so important because one of my marketing students, he came to me and he was like, oh yeah, I'm collecting leads, and his headline was like, 20% off summer sale. Of what? So he would get, submissions from people, but then they would tell him, oh, I was just signing up to see what you were selling. I didn't really know what you were talking about. So be sure that your headline is clear about what you're offering in the ad. And when you're using the opt-in form, speaking of headlines, make sure the headline in the form is the same as the one in the ad, because the idea is to keep the theme the same. You want to confuse, your viewers. You don't want one headline here and another headline here, and you're like, what's going on? Just keep the theme the same. Just play it safe. Also, use captions in your videos, because sometimes when your video is playing in the newsfeed, sometimes the sound isn't on. So they may not be able to hear what's going on, but if you use captions, they can see the captions, and that's what's going to incite them to turn on the video. And the cool thing is, Facebook has a feature where you can actually put in captions in the video. So Facebook makes it pretty easy. Also, make sure you keep the video under 60 seconds. And 60 seconds is just my personal preference, because as of now, Instagram does not allow videos in the newsfeed past 60 seconds. And there's a study that says that our attention span is, shorter than that of a fish anyway. So it's just a general idea to just keep the video short Now, Facebook will allow you to create a video for as long as you want, but just an idea, benchmark for me, 60 seconds, keep it straight to the point. Also, use call to action. I know that the guy that was up here earlier, he mentioned the call to action. For those who don't know what that is, it's basically the thing that you want them to do in response to the ad. And make sure you put that call to action in your video, in your description, in your headline, and everywhere in the ad. Even for like me, I have a video that basically invites them to watch my free video. And even in the video, I actually point down to the button in the video. Click the button below this video to access your free tutorial. So make sure that you're adding call to action. Because most people who, they see ads, but in most cases, they don't really know that they have to do something in response to that ad. People aren't that smart anyway, so you kind of have to walk them through it. And finally, split test. Because you may have an idea of, how well an ad may go, but you may not know that there's another combination of, ad building that may actually work twice as much, or twice as better, or 3 times as better, or 3 times as better. 3 times better than the ad that you may have in your mind. So the way to split test is to split test different things at once. So let's say you test the audience first, keep everything else the same. So you may have a different ad set for different audiences, keep the ad itself the same, because if you're changing everything, you don't really know what's influencing the numbers, right? So once you've tested the audiences, do the same thing for video, do the same thing for headlines, just go down the list, and then now you have an ad that's going to perform a lot better than maybe the one you originally had in mind, right? Now, this is just some examples of ads that I've run, just some, ideas of what's possible when it comes to Facebook advertising. So as you can see, Facebook gives you metrics to determine how well your ad is performing. Now, I can't, talk about the metrics because there's really hundreds of them. I'd be up here for like 3 more sessions going over it. But the one metric that I really like is cost per result, or cost per lead. So as you can see here, it shows how much I spent, how many leads I've gotten. So the first one says I've gotten 129 email leads, and I spent $159 to get those leads, and then Facebook divides the total amount that I spent by the total number of leads, and it gives me an average cost per lead. So as you can see in the bottom 2, I've gotten my leads down to 89 cents per lead, 69 cents per lead. So these are just some examples of what is possible when it comes to Facebook and Instagram advertising. So that's pretty much my session. That's my information there. I'm actually offering a free mini course on my Instagram site. So if you want to access that course, it's called the Music Career Starter Kit. So it goes over how you can supercharge your music sales and how you can set up your brand in a way where it runs itself. So you can pretty much, focus on making music and all that good stuff. So if you go to my Instagram, it's the Musical Web with 2 B's, my last name, and then just go to the link in the description box. It's free. You just go ahead and just enroll in the course. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks for missing the AFC Championship and listening to me talk. Anybody? I'm sorry? Oh, you have time for questions? Yes. All right, perfect. Anybody has any questions for me? Good.
Just wanted to start by saying thank you so much for the presentation. It was very informational.
Thank you.
And I've seen from a lot of marketers, from a lot of videos, that what some people are doing is they make multiple Facebook ads. And what they do is, within that Facebook ad, it is for the same purpose, but they put their interests of the people that they're targeting with each separate ad. So if I'm a wedding photographer, I wouldn't put under one ad, I'm looking for people getting married, friends of people getting, they would do that all separate.
Right.
Do you see that making a difference, and what is the point of separating them versus putting them all together?
That's a good question. You know what? Remember when I mentioned that you can have multiple ad sets in one campaign? A lot of people, that's just an example of split testing, because you may have an idea of what interest will work and what doesn't, and you'd be surprised that the interest that you thought was going to work, sometimes it doesn't work, and then the interest that you may have thought may not have an impact may actually work better than the interest that you thought was going to work, right? So what you want to do is, let's say if you're a wedding photographer, you may want to test, people who are recently starting to get married, or people who have an interest in, weddingwire.com. So you want to basically put those interests in separate ad sets, because the numbers will basically calculate separately from those, and you will be able to determine which interests are working and which ones aren't. So hopefully that helps with that question. Anybody else?
Hi, thanks so much for your help. I have several different businesses. We have a state-of-the-art recording studio. We just made a 10th board last night.
Congratulations.
I'm developing various artists. Thank you very much. I'm developing various artists. And one of the challenges is that you want to promote each of the artists with their own social media, but you also are then promoting the studio. And it ends up being a lot of redundancy that is potentially annoying to the consumer. What's the best way of consolidating multiple social media brands?
There's a few ways to do it. You can basically run ads on each individual artist's page, or you can, as a company, create different ad sets for different artists. And what Facebook allows you to do is you can actually duplicate the different settings, so you wouldn't have to just keep going from scratch for each individual person. So you can basically run ads as your company represents the artist, and then create different ad sets for each artist that you have, and then just make the interest a little bit different for each of the audiences. But again, if you do it that way, you can just duplicate each of the ad sets and save you all the time. So hopefully that helps.
My question is, on the flip side, I've seen ads once, and then I've also seen ads twice. And even if I've done like whatever it's asking me to do to call to action, I'm like, okay, I saw it already.
Right.
As someone who's trying to put out an ad, is there a way to see if your ad is hitting multiple people or the same people, or hey, maybe I should try a different ad because I've reached pretty much who I want to reach here.
Right.
Facebook's just repeating whatever.
So Facebook has this metric called frequency, where it gives you an average number of times that your ad has shown to an average person. So as far as like giving you specifics on who has seen the ad, it doesn't give you that information. But if you want to basically avoid having the same person being shown the ad multiple times, what you can do is you can create a custom audience for the people who have responded to your ad and then exclude them in the main ad, if that makes sense. So that's a good way to kind of just keep the frequency down, so you won't have people seeing the same ad multiple times over. So.
Okay, last question.
Hi, how's it going?
Hello.
My first time at the show.
Awesome.
I just wanted to know, like, I've made these t-shirts to like promote my music. What would be a good way to go about doing that? Like, utilizing like the ad space to like get like merch out and stuff like that.
So there's a few ways you can do it. Just me personally, what I would do is I would collect your email first, and then on the thank you page, I would offer you merchandise. Because at that point, you already have your contact information, and you're growing your email list. So even if you don't, promote the shirt then and there, you can always promote it later on down the line, in the course of a few months or whatever. But another thing that you could do is if you want to sell the merchandise directly, is just use the conversions campaign, and then just install that pixel on the thank you page when someone buys your merchandise. There's different ways that you can kind of do that, but those are some effective ways to do it.
Great. And NAMM is available for questions after the session on the other side of the wall there. Please give a warm round of applause for the great presentation.
Thank you.
It's all good. Just gonna try to walk off. Everything. Yeah, because I'm gonna upload it to my OneDrive. I'm gonna send you a link. It's too big. Oh, AirDrop. I can do. Yeah, I love AirDrop. Okay, let's do that.